Welcome everybody back to Boost Motion, guys, and it's been such a long time. Shout out to my whole Boost Motion family. I know you guys have been waiting for me to return, but today I want to jump into the video. You already guys know what to do. Hit that like button for me. Anyways, in this video, guys, I want to talk about this new product from AMS, and I like to jump in right when things are hot. And I think this is actually a pretty good item for the people who are chasing high horsepower. So, guys, we're going to talk about the new AMS low pressure fuel pump upgrade. But we're not talking about the little drop-in that they put in the OEM basket. They designed their own fuel pump and or basket to replace the OEM unit. So guys, let's jump into the video. First thing, shout out to my whole Boost in Motion family. I really appreciate you guys for banging with me for over this amount of years. I've been seeing some of my videos pop up from years ago as an update. And I'm like, wow, I used to really put out a lot of videos. But today, we're going to talk about AMS. So, AMS has come out with a new product. Now, for the people who are watching, should this apply to you guys? Should you even care? Should you actually even purchase this product? Well, we're going to talk about that in this video. Well, if you don't take guys on already see, this is going to be an in-tank fuel pump system upgrade. Now, should you get this if you're on stock turbo? No. Unnecessary. You do not need it on stock turbo, so you don't have to buy it. 2. Should you get this if you're on fully 85? I would say maybe, but we'll talk about that a little later. And should you get this fuel pump upgrade if you are rocking a pure and or Z1 turbo upgrade? Now that it's here and plentiful, absolutely. So I want to talk about it. So AMS has dropped their Q50, Q60 in-tank fuel pump system between the prices of $13.50 to $17.50. Now, you have two options between the single pump unit and a dual pump unit, which means you'll get a secondary pump. You guys are going to ask, so Boost, should you get a single unit or a dual unit? Well, the single unit, remember, is just going to be the one pumping up the fuel pressure. But when you have a dual unit, you have a better consistency, which means you'll quickly hit higher fuel pressure. Also, let's just say if one pump fails, you at least know that you have another pump to back it up. It's always better to have an overkill on fuel than to pretty much not have enough or just enough. All right? So let's go through some of the reading and everything like that. They broke it down for us. So I'm not going to go through the reading. You guys can go on the website. But let's just say, read quickly some of the bullet points. Your dual pump system can support about 1,400 horsepower of fuel on gasoline and about 1,100 on E85. The single pump unit supports about 800 and about 600 on E85. Includes an injection molded engineering thermoplastic basket, pretty much the basket it sits in, nearly triples the pump's basket size OVM by 154% and retains the surge tank priorities unlike competitors. Improves upon a factory siphon system, pretty much they're just updating how the stock unit pretty much runs and how it sucks in the fuel. Pause, no diddy. CNC machined red ionized billet aluminum fuel pump assembly top hat utilizes plug and play. Yes, pretty much it. AMS makes great products. We know that. AMS is going to deliver us a product that bolts right in. They've been testing out for maybe months and even years now. Especially that this is something that's dealing with fuel. They're not going to just come out with a product that's jank that they just glue together. They're going to make sure that you give a product that's tested and true, that pretty much zero failure points. All right. And let me see if there's anything else here that you really want to talk about that you really should care about. Utilizes industry standard made in USA Walbro 450 LPH fuel pumps, and all materials and components are fully ethanol and methanol compatible. Remember, ethanol and or methanol can break down some of these steel and metal components over time. So, and allows the conversion to return style fuel line pumping to support port injection installation. That's actually a unique thing. So, should you guys actually care about this? Why you guys should care? I'm gonna give you guys my honest opinion. Let's not make this one too long for y'all, cause I don't wanna bore you guys. So let me see if I can close this video a little bit. No, I can't even get a photo of my damn self. All right, where's the picture? I don't want you guys looking at me the whole time. No, let's not do that. All right, you lost me now. I'm going. Anyways, remember I haven't been on here quite a long time, so don't judge me. Don't judge me. Now, if you guys take a look at this unit, they actually do a breakaway of it. That's actually pretty cool. I like that they do that, and they actually go through a different amount of. Let me see if I can press pause. Nope, they don't let me pause. Oh yeah, I can pause. So, what are some of the things that I like about this unit already? Remember, I'm not a big turbo guy. I'm not one of the guys out there making the records or anything, but I do like to look at the science and stuff and see if this is actually a really good product. And theoretically, I know that AMS came out with a good product. I just know it. So, as I said, should you use this on your stock turbo system? I think it's unnecessary completely. Some people would actually advise with it, saying they're saying, well, if you go to the racetrack, you're pulling a certain amount of G's. All right, guys. The reason why this unit comes out and why it looks different than any other unit on the market, because it has they designed a bucket for the they designed a bucket with baffles, I'm assuming, inside of it for the fuel to sit. Pretty much just think about a bucket and imagine that you put a bunch of shelves in the bucket or like a maze at the bottom of the bucket, right? In the OEM fuel tank, when you floor it from a hard stop, all the fuel rushes to the back of the fuel pump, the fuel tank. Now, depending on how low you are in gas, if they're low on gas and all the fuel pushes to the back, you are losing fuel pressure because that fuel pump isn't sitting in the fuel anymore. So when you lose fuel pressure, guess what happens? Fuel pressure goes down. Then you go into lean conditions. High pressure fuel pump has to work even harder, and you'll have a bunch of codes and even issues and under really harsh amount of acceleration. This is for the big guys who push the max effort. You can have pretty much failure of an injector or a really lean moment, which can destroy your motor. We don't want that. So the competitors are not designing their units with a basket. Most of the competitors are designing their units with an extra fuel pump, which keeps fuel pressure up, and that's about it, right? But in this case, they designed the basket so when that fuel siphons into or mazes its way into the bucket, right? And when you're on a harsh acceleration or braking or even turning, right? That fuel still stays within that bucket. It doesn't slosh and go away. So there's still enough fuel that these pumps are going to be sucking in, which means you don't have a loss of fuel pressure, which means your car is running perfectly fine. That's pretty much what they designed here, right? That's what they designed. And they gave you a product that pretty much OEM fit and plugs right in. Now we know that they already what is the advantage of using this over their, let's say, the OEM or their original $200, $250 fuel pump upgrade? Well, there's no I mean, they made it quite easy to install that regular $200 fuel pump, but in this case, they're giving you a whole different unit. That's OEM replacement. In the O1, you're using the OEM unit, and of course, some of you people may mess up on the installs. You may cut some of the fuel lines by accident, and that causes future problems in the future. A problem that causes problems for the future when it comes to fuel pressure. Not everyone is handy capable, even though they give you instructions. In this case, they give you something that is like, yo, we've designed this from the ground up. It's supposed to be foolproof. Drop it in, plug it in. That's it. Set and forget it. That's what it is. That's what you pay the premium for. So for the people who say sit there and see an expensive price like me, I'd be like, damn, this is a lot of money. But this isn't for the guy who wants to be on 85 stock turbo. This isn't for you guys. You can go with a regular AMS or any other company's low pressure fuel pump upgrade and call it a day. You don't have to go full balls to the wall with something like this unless you want to prerequisite it and you know you're going to go big turbos and other things down the line, right? So I would recommend you guys skipping this. Also, it is saying that if you do want to run port injection down the line, port injection is pretty much when you add another set of injectors that are not DI. They're port injection, which means they're going to sit probably, I'm assuming, before the low intake manifold or under the upper intake manifold, up top of the lower intake manifold, pretty much before it gets into the cylinder, and that's going to run off the low pressure fuel pump line or low pressure line before it goes to the high pressure, and they're going to shoot fuel into the cylinders, which is going to give you more fueling because you at some point you can max out the injectors. But this is something for the big turbo guys who are pushing 900 to 1,000 wheel horsepower. That is what this fuel pump is for. This is not for the guy who's running 500 wheel horsepower. This is unnecessary. But for some people watching, If you know you're a heavy guy, you guy who's gonna be at the track often, you want to have the lowest amount of fuel in your tank, and you know that you're gonna do big turbos or something in the future. That you know you're gonna be doing this stuff down the line. Then it makes sense to just to spend this money one time on something like this and just set it and forget it. At least you know that you got two pumps or one, and you just call it a day. But in this case, I'm gonna tell you guys straight up, just get the dual pumps. If you already spent this money, get the dual pumps. It makes no sense just to do the one pump. You already spent enough money on the unit. Just spend the extra money and make a dual pump setup and call it a day. That's my honest opinion. What I gotta sit there and say about it. Um, so we talked about if you are going to be, let's say, upgraded turbo now, like a pure turbo. This is definitely going to be beneficial if you do a lot of quarter mile times and or even if you go to the racetrack. Um, and if you are going to be running Z1 Motorsports, because we know Z1 Motorsports are giving us that 700 wheel horsepower territory, this is definitely going to be recommended. Period. That's it. With the amount of torque and the horsepower you're making at that time, yes, you can still do OEM upgraded systems or even dual pump systems from other competitors. But this one, if you're going to spend that money, it seems like they put their price point a little bit more expensive, but at least you get the added safeguard of we're going to make sure that you really don't run into any fuel pressure issues at all. So you're bringing down your risk a lot more. Not saying that the other competitors are not, and their dual pump setups are not doing great. Remember, they have dual pump setups. But in this case, they just get that, I guess I hate to say it, they gave you a bucket at the bottom to catch the fuel. And shout out to AMS, man. I'm not going to even go too much more into this. I think it's a good product, great product. And if they came out with it, that means that they took a lot of time and effort. And these guys don't just make these things up in 4 weeks and then just throw it together. They've been probably using this stuff for probably months or maybe even, I would say, probably a year or two already. And now they are giving it to you guys. All right? So, you already know what to do. You could definitely go to AMS's website, look a little bit more at the information on there. Shout out to AMS. Shout out to my boy. You know that's working there. Shout out to you, brother. Happy to finally see that you at AMS too. You've been everywhere, brother. I know you're watching the video. But other than that, shout out to AMS for coming out with this product. And you guys already know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button with the bell notification, and hit all. I'm going to do some updated videos on the different horsepower goals for the VR30 Q50 Q60. And I have been talking to different people from the community about bringing the Bring the Boost Back podcast back on the channel. I'm trying to get some controversial people back on because, people got beef. Like, they got a lot of beef, and I want them to use this platform as a way to air off their beef and to speak to you guys directly. All right? So otherwise than that, guys, you have a good morning, good afternoon, good night. I really appreciate you. Guys, have a good day. Thank you.